Tired of trying diet after diet without results? Mochi Health offers a long-term weight loss solution personalized to your needs. Our board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians provide expert guidance to help you succeed. Eligible patients can access custom-formulated GLP-1 medication at an affordable set price delivered monthly. Take our free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 for $40 off your first month. That's joinmochi.com.
KFI AM 640, it's the Lady with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram, and we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I remember I was in some sort of text verbal confrontation with some flat earthers, and there's a reason I'm talking about this. The flat earthers, if you've ever dialogued with them, they also believe that we didn't go to the moon. And they'll swear up and down for any number of reasons we did not go to the moon. They say, well, if we actually did go to the moon in 1969, why did we not ever go back? And then I have to remind them, as of course of basic history, we went back 5 times. We went a total of 6 times to the moon. It's not some secret. I mean, all the information is out there for you. But the reason I mention that is it's a common question. Why didn't we go back to the moon, quote unquote? Because space is expensive. And also, if you're not old enough to remember, the Apollo missions were during a time in which not everything was televised. The Apollo missions was during a time we didn't have the internet. The Apollo missions was during a time we didn't get to see many of the tests or any of the tests. I mention that because SpaceX had another failure tonight. And we're seeing in real time not only how expensive it is, but how difficult it is. And they're not even trying to go to the moon yet. They're just testing a new type of booster rocket. And it's having all sorts of problems. They've had unscheduled rapid disassemblies, the 2 prior launches. And Mark Ronner, first, good evening, but correct me if I'm wrong, they lost contact with this latest launch.
Yeah, I actually had a story that was written earlier in the evening, and I just now saw the story, the update that it was spinning. I'll read it to you right here. SpaceX says it still has a lot of work to do after the latest Starship test flight. The mega rocket launched from Starbase, Texas, just after 6:30 p.m., but about 30 minutes in, the uncrewed spacecraft lost control and began to spin. Starship made an uncontrolled reentry and is thought to have broken up somewhere over the Indian Ocean. Translation, spacing is hard. It's really, really difficult. Yeah, especially since Stanley Kubrick faked that whole moon landing. If you're going to do it for real, you got to be careful.
Right. But that takes me back to what I was saying at the top, because many flat earthers, their adjacent views, we never went to the moon. If we did go to the moon, why is it we never went back? And we're seeing in real time how difficult it actually is to do anything in space. Saying nothing of the privatized version. This isn't NASA. This isn't the further extension of what NASA was doing 55 years ago.
This is an extension of what Musk is doing to his cars.
Well, they've already launched a car, so they're beyond that.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things where, there were plenty of failures by NASA. We just didn't get to see them, and the types of failures NASA had sometimes resulted in death. And now we have the technology where we can have these uncrewed space missions, or at least space tests, where we're not risking human life. Space is very dangerous. Space is very expensive. And I hope we can start putting to rest the idea that, well, if we actually went to the moon, we should be going there all the time. We should have a moon base by now. This is some of the craziness that people tell me.
Mo. This conversation begins and ends with flat earther.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
And once you say, how do you know that?
We've crossed the Rubicon.
I'm done. I actually had a debate with someone one time, and I said, how is it that we haven't gotten to the end yet? And then they had a whole new theory about why we haven't gotten to this edge, because it's protected by the government and they won't let us get there.
Just one government, not every government.
No, just the government.
All the governments have to be in on it there. Because there's someone out there, maybe Australia, who's not going to play along, and they're going to accidentally bump into the dome.
Oh wait, this is that New World Order with the black helicopters, right?
No,
this is old.
That's old. This new one believes that there is a dome that we are covered in, and that's why we haven't got. It's just a real circular thing. We haven't also gotten to the moon because there is no moon. It's all projected onto this dome.
It's
which
paper
we are
mache.
Look, I'm telling you that is the problem. Once you open up that can of flat Earth worms, it goes down.
I see what you did there, because there's a flat worm and they did a flat earth worm. Credit for that. Most people might not have caught that, but I did. You mixed them together.
I put them together.
Sometimes you can't make sense out of nonsense. And I'm a kid who grew up post Apollo. I mean, they had the moon landing. I think it was July of 1969. I think July 19th, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't alive for that. I was still in the womb at that point. I don't have any firsthand memory, but I grew up as a kid enjoying, and here's another point, the space shuttle missions. We didn't have, when they were testing the space shuttle, we didn't have any disasters. Again, when they were testing the space shuttle. And if you're old enough to remember, they were testing the space shuttle where they would they put it on the back of a 747, and the 747 would fly up to a certain altitude, and they would release it, and the space shuttle would then glide back to Earth. They were practicing just landing the space shuttle. They didn't practice launching the space shuttle because the solid booster rockets was a separate entity altogether. As you can see on the YouTube channel right now, thank you for that, Daniel. You can see right now how they used to fly the space shuttle on the back of a 747. In fact, you may have remembered when they were taking the space shuttle out of service, they put it back on a 747 and they flew it over to somewhere in LA, and they put it on this pulley and they towed it down to the LA Science Center, where it now resides. But we grew up in an era, or at least I grew up in an era with a space shuttle where we didn't have the testing errors and disasters that we have now. Of course, yes, you had Challenger, but that was in 1986, and that was something well beyond the testing phase. We are still in the testing phase of SpaceX. It's going to be a long time, if ever, we get to Mars. I don't know if we'll ever get to Mars in a crude sense. And there's something else. Why would you send people back to the moon when it is so dangerous, it's so expensive, and now you have the technology in the way that we send these rovers to Mars, and to the moon, and other countries have sent rovers to the moon. Why would we go back to the moon just to say we're going back to the moon? So if you're just tuning in, another failed launch for SpaceX. At least this time it didn't blow up on liftoff. This seemingly it fell apart trying to land or something. I don't know, back into a parking space. What was it again, Mark? They lost contact with it?
They lost control and began to spin.
Yeah, drunk driving.
And made an uncontrolled re-entry.
Is that what caused the sonic boom the other day? No, this just happened.
Yeah, this just happened.
Okay.
I have no idea. I don't know what happened at your house. Maybe someone was lighting off fireworks.
No, it was a sonic boom. The whole house shook.
Koala, did you have an uncontrolled re-entry at home?
Mark,
that sounds so wrong.
It
sounds really wrong.
It was within the neighborhood. You're not far away from him. You didn't feel that sonic boom re-entry?
I was probably asleep. I was probably sacked out.
At 10 o'clock?
10:30 at night, and it was in Oceanside.
What was it? Fireworks?
What? No, it was the sonic boom. It was
what was going on?
It was SpaceX.
It was a re-entry of the Dragon rocket that was coming back in outside of Oceanside.
Okay, so what was taken off tonight?
That one I'm not sure on.
It's a
I'm
whole
just talking
other
about the one
rocket.
that T was talking about.
Is this Gattaca where they have daily launches?
Windows shattered.
Yes, they are.
Our house shattered. Our house rattled in Long Beach.
Yes. How did you not?
Did it shake, rattle, and roll?
Shake, rattle, and roll. Yes, it did.
Okay. No, wait, now that I think of it, we did hear it, and we went outside to look and see if the air conditioner had been knocked over on the roof or something like that. We did hear it, yes.
Okay, see, so we all felt something. We didn't, because no one knew what it was.
Mass
no one knew what it was. You can't have 3 different versions of
Fake news.
Fake
news.
Oh my God.
That's called a mass delusion when multiple people allege to have experienced the same phenomenon.
But differently?
What's different? Y'all saying the same thing?
No, Nick's house, he had the shaking and the rattling.
Yeah,
I felt
the
a big
roof-
boom
roof-
sensation. Mark thought his air conditioner was about to fall out.
Where were you, Mo?
It's Saturday night at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, 10:30.
Oh, yeah, I was intoxicated at home getting ready.
Oh,
to go to
okay.
sleep.
Well, see,
I had a
he was
long
probably-
day.
he was
Had a
like,
long
you
ass day.
did, and I got to see it, and I can't wait to talk about that later. But anyway.
Oh, it was a long
Yeah, well, then
day.
trust, you felt it. You
10:30?
didn't know.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was 2,
So
3
you were probably
jacks
passed
in.
out.
No, I wasn't passed out. I made it to midnight, I remember, on Saturday.
Okay.
But I was not concentrated on any booms.
Wasn't the boom on Sunday?
What would have been on Sunday?
I don't know. I had just gotten home from late dinner, and the landlady thought that I'd done something.
Well, you may be talking about something entirely different. You may have done something.
Yeah, maybe I did. I don't know, but there was a loud boom, and we were instructed to check out all possible sources of said boom.
See, that's the difference between white folks and black folks.
Yeah,
When there's a boom, we assume that we're near danger.
I did not dive for cover.
You go outside and say, "Hey, what is that? Is someone?
Hey,
is
you
someone
kids,
lighting
stop
off?"
making this noise.
We assume the worst. We
Okay, I just
assume
looked it up, guys. It was 10:45 Pacific Standard Daylight Time on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's on Saturday because
Right.
me and my son were watching anime. That's what we do on Saturday.
we assume that means either they're shooting or there's something going on, and we stay our asses in the house.
Yeah, that was Mark with his other half going out to investigate
Yeah.
what made that sound.
Oh, okay.
What made that loud sound outside?
Yeah, I marched outside in my bathrobe and my cargo shorts with a broom in my hand, and I was like, what's going on out here?
All right, I know, Steph. We got to go to break. Here's a perfect example. If you see a bunch of people running, Mark, what is your first inclination?
Let's see. Which half am I answering with here?
Your white half.
Oh, to find out what they're running from and not run with them.
Oh, see?
Okay, see?
Yeah, you're dead every time.
Every single time.
Yeah, my other half join them and try to outrun them
I'm
so that
running.
somebody
we
else
will
is
find
first.
out later because that means danger is coming in this direction.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
It's later with Mo Kelly. We're back live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app, and we're off. We got to tell you, we have a hot summer coming this way, and it's not hot boy or hot girl. It's just straight up.
Tired of trying diet after diet without results? Mochi Health offers a long-term weight loss solution personalized to your needs. Our board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians provide expert guidance to help you succeed. Eligible patients can access custom-formulated GLP-1 medication at an affordable set price delivered monthly. Take our free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 for $40 off your first month. That's joinmochi.com.
Hot.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. And I got to say, that was pretty cool, Daniel. I like the new animations on the transitions. That's pretty cool. You got to tune into YouTube.
It's so. I went out there and told him how cool it was.
Yeah. I didn't see it the first time. Hey, Daniel, can you do that again?
Just do it again, yeah.
Wait, all right, so everyone, we're going to give you 5 seconds to get to YouTube.
Yeah.
This is more important than the show. At Mr. Mo Kelly.
This is more
MRMOKELLY. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transition. Woo! Hercules.
That is fancy.
Hercules. I like it.
So cool.
It's TV, but not.
It's like he got some of that video toaster software from the 80s.
Yeah, I know. Now he's just playing around with it. Doesn't know what to do with himself. But we appreciate that. I'm going to say, it was kind of warm this weekend, but not as hot as it's going to be in future weekends. Antelope Valley is another fact. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to reach 102 degrees this coming weekend. 102 degrees. Now, since I've turned 50, I'm a little bit past 50 now. Since I turned 50, I am not interested in extremes. Not extreme heat, not extreme cold. I need it to be 80 degrees every single day. And that's not impossible. It's just when I'm in my car, I can make sure it's not too hot. If I'm in my house, it's not too hot. Coming to the station is the only time I'm really vulnerable for about 35 steps, leaving the parking garage to the double glass doors to get in iHeartMedia. That's the only time I'm vulnerable.
Those couple steps, though.
Oh, you could burn up like the Wicked Witch of the West.
I can imagine what an ant feels like when they use a magnifying glass on them, because you're between two buildings. And so the sun just reflects, and it just burns you.
Yeah, it's like the vampires in Near Dark. You could catch fire before you get to the building.
Yeah, absolutely. Since you mentioned ants and magnifying glasses, did you ever do that as a kid? I'm sorry to say I did.
I did it with leaves.
Yeah, doing it with insects, that's
I really are a sociopath.
I never progressed to a serial killer,
I'm
okay?
just saying,
I know what you're thinking.
There's a level of cruelty and inhumanity in just doing that to ants.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm not even going to tell you about the stuff I did to moths, okay?
Oh, boy.
What?
You don't want to know.
What type of Silence of the Lambs are we dealing with right here?
Yeah, all the serial killers start with animal cruelty, so you've got some corpses hidden someplace.
They are insects.
Yeah, that you're telling us.
This is a good night to have a chat.
Kingdom, order, phylum.
Look,
it's not the same.
I never knew about the ants, so
yeah, you've got some.
Okay, wait. Let's be clear. Y'all have never stepped on an ant intentionally.
No, not intentionally.
Oh, come on.
No.
Y'all some liars.
I don't go out of my way to step
You're
on
some
ants.
liar. You're some motherfucking liars.
Stepping on an ant is different than torching them like a wrathful god. Okay.
And not only that, I don't even step on roaches. Mark tried to get me to go in and get the iHeart bathroom roach, and I said no.
Let
the roach
problem,
go.
dog. Okay, look, I don't like to step on roaches because they're nasty, not because I'm trying to spare them.
Exactly. I would say those are scary. And the ones in there are the size of your thumb.
Yeah, let them live.
They're huge.
All right, so what's the line here? What is it that you will kill and won't kill? I'll kill me some bees.
I would kill a man that tried to or did molest or harm one of my children. I'd kill him dead.
All right then.
That's what I said. But that's a person who has harmed my child. You're dead.
But what if a bee stung you? That's harming you or your child.
No, if a bee stung my daughter or my son, I'd be like, hey, get your ass off the grass.
Okay, you're gonna be mad at your kids for sitting on the grass.
Yeah, you're over there harassing the bees. Get away from the bees.
Hey,
Mark, what is your line?
I think the line generally is if you go out of your way to kill any other living thing for your own personal amusement, you need to be locked away for life.
You're a sicko.
Yeah, you're a sociopath.
Yeah.
You would not even spray ants with Raid?
Well, if they were getting into the house, yeah, sure.
Well, I'm trying to find what the line is.
But I'm not going out of my way to torture them to death with the sun.
So you're not going to step on them if they just happen to be. If you see a line of ants, you would hop over them like it was a superstition.
I like how you're trying to put this on us. Like you're not the one who just exposed
I'm asking
yourself.
A question as far as what is or what is not fair play.
What's fair play is if something impinges upon you and gets in your way and you've got to deal with it, then you deal with it. But if you go out of your way to, for your own enjoyment, destroy them like you are the Almighty with the rays of the sun, then you need professional help as quickly as possible.
You've never killed a spider in your house and just squeezed the brains and life out of them.
I killed one just last night. It was a big one. It's the size of a golf ball.
Now here's the thing.
What?
No, look.
Your Honor.
Look, for me, I will allow spiders leeway to leave. I will let a spider leave. Even if it's in the room, if it's crawling around near the bed, I'll say, hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out of here.
You're going to have a conversation with the spider.
He's reasoning with it.
I do, because it's like, it's not the spider's
The one
fault.
that's hanging over you, ahead, on the ceiling.
The one that I've seen hanging, I try my best to catch those things. And you know what I've done? To get over my fear of spiders? I've started grabbing it with my hand. Grab them with my hand.
You know that might kill them, you know?
Mo wants to pretend he's Galactus.
I watch them crawl around.
I'm just thinking of Tawala having a conversation with the spider.
I'm not having a conversation with the spider.
I do.
Or a roach. Any type of insect or arachnid. I'm not having a conversation.
No, but I sent you all the video the other day when I was in the bathroom, and I said, hey, man.
That's a little too personal.
I said, I'm going to back up off of this roach. There's a whole video I shot. I said, you just do your thing. I'm backing up. I'm not messing with you. You do your own thing. It was a whole
I'm not trying to step on a roach, but I will drown it in Raid.
Oh, man.
I will do that. And you're saying that I am the bad guy for drowning a roach in Raid.
No, I'm saying that if you like to torture the insects for amusement, then there's a high likelihood you've got assorted animal bodies buried around your house.
I did not say I enjoyed it.
You said you burned them with a magnifying glass.
I did. I was curious. A child is curious.
You were homicide curious.
I was conducting a science experiment with the rays of the sun and a magnifying glass.
You could have done what Fuchs did on a leaf.
We did do that. And then we weren't. Look, it wasn't like I put the ant in the microwave, which I did later on in life.
Jesus. What did you have on a lab coat and goggles?
No,
this was not.
No. True story. It was here, and I just opened the microwave, and the ant was in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, well, this is an opportunity to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, the ant
so I closed the door, turned it up to like 2 minutes.
Yeah, the ant was practically begging for it. What was the ant wearing, Mo?
A short skirt?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
We got to go to break. This later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And the big one is coming to California. The earthquake. The big one. And we're going to tell you within a couple of decades when it's going to be here.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
If you're not checking out the YouTube show, you're missing something. It's like a television show with seamless transitions, 4-camera action. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. I have breaking news. The big one is officially on its way, and scientists have narrowed it down as to when it is going to strike. Not only when, but where. And I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to break some news right here on KFI AM 640 and YouTube and Instagram and everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, word?
Word. 2 words. Very soon. And it's going to be in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is almost now certain to suffer a devastating earthquake within the next few, not minutes, not hours, not days, not weeks, but within the next few decades, Carnisha. Next few decades.
Hey.
And Tuala handed me this story like it was going to be soon, as in like next few days or something. No, next few decades. I misunderstood him. I thought he said days, but the story says decades.
I mistook it. I thought it said it was days because they were talking about this swarm of earthquakes that has just recently hit the area. And this swarm of earthquakes is what led them to deduce the timing of the big one.
Let's talk about the timing. The big one has a 72% chance of striking San Francisco by the year 2055.
Oh.
If I'm still alive, I will be 86 years old. Mark Ronner will be 94, and Stefan will be 71.
We'll all have Parkinson's, so we won't even know there's an earthquake.
If we're lucky.
We'll be synchronized with it.
If we're lucky. You'll have Parkinson's.
Thank you.
I'll have some sort of dementia, but it won't be Parkinson's. Alzheimer's problem.
Well, there's a contest. Nobody wins.
I know that this seems like it's far off. I just believe that there is more to this story than they're leading us to believe. I think they want us to kind of feel like we're okay with this 2055 and 2032, but in actuality, the swarm of earthquakes, this is just making sure it's on our mind, because if it happens sooner, they can always say, well, we told you about the swarm.
The big one is estimated to be somewhere between 6.7 and 7.8 on the Richter scale. And if you know anything about earthquakes, that's exponential, okay? A 7.8 is exponentially more powerful than a 6.7. Those numbers actually matter. We're having some fun with it. But to be serious, depending on where that quake is, if it's in San Francisco or maybe just off the coast of San Francisco, it could have a tsunami implications. Now, if there's any good news in this, sorry, San Francisco, I know we're in the same state, but not really, because that's an 8-hour drive. So as far as I'm concerned, you don't impact me, San Francisco. I don't like the Giants, so I don't like you, San Francisco. So if it should hit up there, I don't want anyone to die. I'm just saying I don't care too much about San Francisco if it should slide into the ocean. I just don't want the big one here in LA. And I promise you, if the big one hits in here in LA, it really won't matter where anyone is, because there won't be anything you can do.
Yeah,
if a 7.8 earthquake hit in, let's say, in downtown Los Angeles, where are you going to drive? Where exactly are you going to go? Hopefully, we'll still have the ability to communicate and find loved ones and strategize as far as how you would get to each other. But you're not going to be able to drive look, on a typical, let's say, Tuesday night, and you're driving, trying to get home at 5 o'clock or something. It's going to take me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to drive 22 miles. Now throw into it the random haphazard circumstances of an earthquake. I'm not sure I'll be able to get to my car. Maybe it's pancaked in the parking garage. This is all assuming I live in the first place. Big assumption.
Streets could be buckled.
All that
collapse.
No power. It could be no power, buckle, collapse, and fires and panic. You're assuming that in a major situation like that there is some semblance of society still remaining, and we have not just turned on each other like in the movie War of the Worlds or something.
Now, I do see one shining light in this story, in this prediction. Anyone living in the Bay Area can start plotting when they want to move further in, and move maybe to Vegas, move even further into California, because that's going to all be, under the ocean.
Well, you can't wait. If you're going to move, you might as well move now.
Well, I mean, they have at least 10 years to start, live it out. And then be like, okay, it's time to go.
These are things that I don't worry about. It's one of those things where, yes, to be absolutely serious, there will be a major earthquake in California sometime in the future. Will it be within our lifetimes? I don't know. We may get a 5.5 or a 6 something on the level of Northridge or Loma Prieta. But the big one, I don't know if and when that's going to happen. It's not something that is going to keep me up at night, because you can't worry about it. You can't actively think about it. Are there measures that you can put in place to better prepare you for a mid-level earthquake? Sure, absolutely. I got the earthquake kit in the car. That's presuming I can get to my car. That's presuming that, I can get to my car and get somewhere else. We don't know the extent of damage. We don't know the circumstances, what you'll be dealing with in an emergency situation like that. It's almost like, and I've talked about this before, but it's a good example. It's almost like when I was in school, and I can't remember, Mark, if you had to do the same. You're a little bit older than me, so I assume it's true.
Yeah, okay.
I had to do nuclear war drills where we would get under our desk.
The duck and cover drills.
Correct. And we were told in the event of a nuclear attack, we would get under our desks. Now, as you get older, you realize that's not going to protect you from anything. And you have all these, we had these drills. We would do them maybe once a month. We had a fire drill, and we had these movies and actual nuclear war drills. I grew up as a child of the Cold War.
Do yourself a favor. Lewis Black has a great bit on that. It is so funny. That's the only reason I'm laughing so hard.
Why don't you find it and edit out all the cursing? Because I know there's a lot.
With Lewis Black. But I heard that's ridiculous when you look back on it.
No, it is ridiculous. I don't know. Tuala, did you have them in grade school?
Yes. And when you look back, it's just mainly to get the kids on the ground and in a praying position so you can
kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah. That's all.
Did you have to watch the cartoon with the turtle, the duck and cover cartoon?
I don't know if it was that, but it was an animated cartoon depicting a nuclear attack. And there was also this instruction, if you happen to be outside and get in front of a curb, get as low as you can.
Yeah,
so like all the houses will blow over you or something.
Yeah. I remember that.
Don't look directly into the blast. It won't matter. Trust me. Maybe you'll want to look into the blast so you'll be blind when it hits you.
I really, I do remember thinking that the things we're being taught were realistic until I saw Terminator. And then I said, oh no, that's what happens during a nuclear blast? No, we're not surviving.
You can look at the early tests of low yield atom bombs. I'm not even talking about thermonuclear hydrogen bombs, just atom bombs. you have no chance in hell.
No, those will
None.
wreck your day. And Tuala, didn't you see that Day After miniseries in, I think, the 80s that
It scared the
Oh, my
Jesus out of
God.
America.
Yeah, it scared the living daylights out of everybody.
I do remember
The day after.
because I remember the scene with the soldier who's driving and the car stops and he gets out. He tries to run because you try to hurry up and get home. Yeah, I remember that. I think to myself, where was he going? No one was going to survive that.
I can tell you, this is a cheery ass show. We're talking about killing insects and
No, you're
the
talking
end of
about
the
killing
world.
insects.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on YouTube. You have to check out the YouTube show. Daniel, our technical director, is doing big things, big things with.
Tired of trying diet after diet without results? Mochi Health offers a long-term weight loss solution personalized to your needs. Our board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians provide expert guidance to help you succeed. Eligible patients can access custom-formulated GLP-1 medication at an affordable set price delivered monthly. Take our free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 for $40 off your first month. That's joinmochi.com.
The production of the YouTube show.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, and Instagram. And growing up, I guess I was fortunate, blessed, lucky to live near a park. I was living in the suburbs, Harbor City, Torrance. You could find a park every couple of miles. It wasn't that difficult. But if you lived in the city of Los Angeles, it was going to be a little bit more difficult, but never as bad as it is now. Of 100 major metropolitan areas in the United States, Los Angeles ranks 90th in the Trust for Public Lands annual park score rankings, which takes into account equity, access, investment, amenities, and overall acreage. 5 years ago, LA was ranked 49th. Again, this is the city, not the county. You would argue that LA has not invested in what they call green spaces. It's become an urban jungle, as they say, where you have new apartment buildings, condominiums, shopping malls, or some sort of business parking lots. Those are parking structures. Those are much more valuable than investing in actual parks. Only 62% of Angelenos live within a 10-minute walk of a park. And that's compared to 76% among the 100 most populous U.S. cities. More than 1.5 million LA residents lack a park within 10 minutes of home. And I'm thinking within 10 minutes of home, that's a luxury. You would think 10 minutes, if you live in a place where you're fewer than 10 minutes from a park, you're doing well. I'm not far from, I'm trying to think the nearest park to my house. I don't know if Chester Washington Golf Course would count, but there are no parks near my house, not within 10 minutes that I can think of. Oh, there's Jesse Owens. That's probably the closest one to me, Jesse Owens Park. But that's still about 15 minutes away, honestly. It's a luxury. Stefan, you're in the same general area as me. Am I forgetting a park?
No, the one I used to go to, like you said, because there's none around us, was Prairie.
Yes.
But that's like on a drive, that's like 10 to 15 minutes.
I mean, there's 3 like golf courses. There's Chester Washington, there's Alondra, and there's one other's Madison something.
And then because again, you're in the same area. There's that one on Prairie and I think Manhattan Beach Boulevard, and they're turning it into a sports complex.
There's one on Prairie and like Delamo Boulevard going towards Torrance, because I know when I go to Scott Robinson Honda, no plug, just truth, I know I passed the park, but I'm almost in Torrance and I'm a good 20-25 minutes from home. So when I read this about LA being a desert as it relates to parks, it makes sense. I don't know how you reverse that trend because land is so valuable and expensive. They're not going to think of a park as the first thing to put there, even though it does have absolute value for a community in a scenic sense, and just a public health sense. It's good for kids to play in, but you just don't see them. And LA is just not a priority. This is not necessarily a political thing. As you know, we've had plenty of mayors, we've had plenty of people on a civic level who could have put parks in. And I don't know if it would be popular enough for elected officials to even pursue. This just might be a statement of fact. Yes, LA is one of the worst when it comes to parks. It's a major urban city. And even though LA is so very spread out and vast, parks are probably not high on the importance list, on the priority list, unfortunately. And if you live in suburban Los Angeles, you may take it for granted that there is a park somewhat close to you. When I was living in Harbor City / Torrance, you couldn't go 3 minutes in any direction and not hit a park in Carson, or in Torrance, or even in San Pedro, everywhere, but not in LA proper. It's unfortunate. And it may not be fair, but it's definitely a fact. We're going to check in with Chris Woolsey, who's back. We're going to find out what's happening and what's available on the Watch Free Plus app in just a moment. KFI AM 640, and definitely tune into the YouTube show. Daniel, our technical director, has done wonderful work with it. The addition of animations and transitions. It's really well done. Make sure you like and subscribe so it'll be easy to find when you come back. Make sure you join the Momigos in Motown, which is the chat function. The party's already started. They're having a good time, so you might as well join us. We're live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app.
Common sense left California a long time ago. We're bringing it back.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the